Oh, happy Tuesday to everybody. Hope you're doing well. A little bit late start today, but we made it. We're in Cleveland for the next game in the 1987 American League replay, the third game to be played on Sunday, July the 5th. It's game number 557 overall in the replay. Municipal Stadium is symmetrical for singles, but not symmetrical for home runs. Kind of weird, but that's the way they have it rated. 11s for singles, both sides. Home runs, 8 left, 11 right. Chicago comes to game 35 and 42. Cleveland comes in 31 and 48. So, not exactly a stellar matchup, but it's on the schedule, so we play it. Looking at our pitching matchup, we have Scott Nielsen on the mound for the White Sox and Phil Niekro, the knuckleballer, the aged one, in his final major league season. Phil Niekro. Let's look at Niekro first before we go on to Nielsen. We'll catch Nielsen at the bottom of the first. Niekro on the 87 season, 7-13 with a 6.10 ERA is Phil Niekro. And good morning, Ben. As we get ready to go here, for the White Sox lineup, it's still pretty typical. I don't see a whole lot of weird things in their lineup today. Except Ozzie Guillen is leading off. That's a little bit unusual. Usually you would have Ritas or somebody lead off, but for whatever reason, Ozzie Guillen is doing the leading off today, and I'm not sure what the thought process was. Maybe they were trying to experiment or something. I don't know. But we'll go with it. Like I said, everything is as played in this replay because I'm doing it as played. It's not like a different kind of replay where you can make your own lineups. Those are fun too. I've done them both. So anyway, we're just about ready to get going here. I do need to give you Niekro's, or would like to give you Niekro's replay. He's actually 3-8. On the replay, he is 3-8 with his ERA of 6.65, 93 innings pitched, 109 hits, 49 walks, and 44 strikeouts. So more walks than strikeouts, and he was about even in real world, 60-64 real world. So control problems has given him a little bit of issues. That knuckleball is dancing maybe a little more than he would like. And before the first pitch, of course, we have the ceremonial first sip. And we are ready to go. Guillen against Niekro. Guillen hitting 278 on the replay, a homer, 34 driven in. He at 279 real world. So he's pretty much right on line. 3-7 for Guillen, and that's a single, leadoff single for Ozzie Guillen. As far as holding runners, Niekro is a +1. He's a 0, but Chris Bando, the catcher, is a +1. So if Guillen wants to try for a lead, which he will do, if he gets a 6 or a 7, he's going to go. Needs a 6 or a 7. Can't get it, so he will just hold fast. And that will bring up left fielder Gary Ritas. Ritas on the replay is hitting 237, 4 homers, 15 driven in. He at 236 real world. So again, he's also on a pretty good pace as far as average goes. 3-4, and that's a pop out to second base. And taking it there is Bernazard, 1 away. Ritas is out, and that'll bring up Harold Baines, designated hitter. Harold Baines on the replay is hitting 268. 4 homers, 29 driven in. He at 293 real world. 2-6. And that's a 1-4 for a triple. 5-20 would be a double. That is an 8. An 8, so that's going to be a double to center. It's assumed to go to center field. Butler's arm is a 0. Guillen runs at a 15. He was being held, makes him a 14. So it'd be a 1-14 to score him. Or he can hold second and third with 1 out. 1-14, is that worth the gamble? Ben, if you're still here, if you want to do a little bit of managing, would you send Guillen? It's 1-14 to score him. or he can settle him in at third. So no, all right, hold him up. All right, second and third. I was kind of thinking along the same lines, but if Baines had a higher, if he was faster and he would take third on the throw, I might have sent him anyway that way but I hate getting that second out. You like to have a guy at third with less than 2 outs. That way, all kinds of things can happen. You put pressure on the defense. Cleveland has to decide whether to play in or out or in or deep or, get sacrifice flies. All sorts of things can happen. Here's Ivan Calderon. Calderon on the replay is hitting 269. 10 homers, 27 driven in. He hit 293 real world. Infield is back. It's early. They'll give up a run to get the out. It's a 110 for Calderon, and that is a single to right field. There's an anti-clutch, but there's only 1 out, so that anti-clutch does not come into play. So the base hit will score again. It will probably not score Baines. He's only a 9, not being held as a 10. Right fielder arm, Corey Snyder's a -4, so obviously Baines is going to hold up at third base. But it will be an RBI single for Ivan Calderon. His 38th run batted into the season, and the White Sox lead it 1-0. Calderon will be held at first, but he's not going to try to go anywhere. Here's Greg Walker, first baseman. Walker, 224 on the replay. A little bit of a struggle so far. 4 homers, 26 driven in. He at 256 real world. Whoa, got held up there. Let's redo that again. Again, the Indians looking for the double play. 1-8, and that's a walk. That's going to load the bases. So Niekro and Sirius, he's just digging himself a little hole here. Bases loaded, 1 out. It does set up, well, they already had a double play set up. It does set up a force at any base. But now you got the veteran Carlton Fisk coming up. He is a double play candidate, though, so that's maybe one silver lining you can look at if you're Cleveland. Fisk on the replay is hitting 299, 7 homers, 28 driven in. He at 256 real world. 2-8, and that's going to be it. And that's just what we called right here. Just what the doctor ordered. Just what the doctor ordered on a 2-8 right-handed for Carlton Fisk. It's a ground ball shortstop A. That's a Giovanni's Tailor Shop tailor-made double play right on cue on that 2-8. And that will end the inning. 6-4-3, as tailor-made as they come. 6-4-3 double play sponsored by Giovanni's Tailor Shop in Lemoyne, Pennsylvania. If you're in the area and you have tailoring needs, be sure to stop by and see them. Tell them Demo sent you. They'll give you a discount. They are the unofficial sponsor of the channel, but the official sponsor of the Giovanni's Tailor Shop tailor-made double play of the game. And Niekro needed it in the worst way. Already 1 run had come in. Bases were loaded, only 1 out, and he gets out of it with that double play. So now we go to the bottom of the first, and pitching for the White Sox is Scott Nielsen. 3-5 with a 6.24 ERA on the regular season. Let's see what he's done on the replay. On the replay, he's 2-1. Let's first of all, got to get the double play in the computer before I can move on. And move on to the next screen. Here we go. So Nielsen is 2-1 with a 5.14 ERA on the replay. 21 innings pitched, 20 hits, 10 walks, 9 strikeouts. He has split time between starting and relieving. And let me see, this might be his first start of the season. Let me check his record here and check his game logs and whatnot. Let's see here. No, that's actually going to be his 3rd game started. He started 7 games real world. This is start number 3 for him. So he's going to have a few more starts after that. He is a +5 on his hold, though. That's the bad part. He's a +5 by himself. Fisk is a 0. So he's a +5. So if guys like Butler and Franco and Bernazar get on base, they will be looking to do some running, as they say. And good morning, Dan, if I didn't say good morning to you earlier. All right, here is Brett Butler. Butler on the replay is hitting 360, 7 homers, 22 driven in. He hit 295 real world. He's another one of those overperformers so far. 1-8, and that's going to be a 1 for a home run. Anything else, he will fly it out to Calderon in right field, and that's what we have. Warning track power for Butler, 1 away. A little bit out of sorts this morning, that's all. That's why it's an hour late compared to normal. All right, here's Tony Bernazard. 235 on the replay, 9 homers, 35 driven in. He at 250 real world. So 111 for Bernazard. He pops it up to Donnie Hill, 2 down. And here is Julio Franco, shortstop. He's hitting 292 on the replay, 6 homers, 38 driven in. He at 319 real world. 610, and that is a catcher X. We're looking at Fisk. He's a 3. 3 and a 3, but nobody's on base, so there won't be any pass balls or wild pitches, but it could be a pop out or a ground out. Let's see. 3 and a 3 is actually going to be a ground out. Assuming he doesn't make an error. He's an E4, so he has to avoid 16, 17, and 18, which he does. So it's just going to be a 2 to 3 ground out to end the inning. 1, 2, 3 go the Tribe here in the first. We go to the bottom. I'm sorry, the top of the second, rather, and it's 1-0 Sox. Donnie Hill will step up, start things off for Chicago. Hill, a switch hitting second baseman, hitting 216 on the replay, 3 homers, 23 driven in. He hit 239 real world. And I'm going to try a little quick experiment. Somebody can tell me if they notice anything different. I turned my window air conditioning unit on, but I don't know how much noise is coming through on this, so I don't know if it's noticeable on the stream or not. But I'm always curious about that. I feel like it's distracting from the stream, but sometimes it gets stuffy up here. You have to do what you have to do. All right. All right, good. Thank you, Ben. Appreciate that. All right, here is Phil Niekro pitching to Donnie Hill. And that's a 5-7. And that is a ground ball second base X. We're looking at Bernazard, a 4E22. 4 and a 4, that's probably going to be a base hit. 4 and a 4 is a single. He's an E22. So 12, 17, and 18. Got to avoid 12, 17, and 18. And that is a 12. How about that? So he had to avoid it, and he couldn't do it. So an E22 and a 12 is a 1 base error. So we got a single plus an error on Bernazard, and that will put Hill to second base. Hill will go to second base on that. Bernazard boots it. Runner in scoring position for Steve Lyons. Lyons at third base in this one. He's hitting 306, just 36 at bats, though. No homers, 5 driven in. He hit 280 real world. And that is a 3-6 for Lyons. And that's a 1-8 single. Anything else, he lines to second. And that's a base hit, but it's only 1 star. Now runners at the corners and nobody out. So the White Sox threatening for more. Niekro off to that rough start. 9th hitter in the lineup is center fielder Ken Williams. And Lyons will not be held at first base. He's no threat to run, really. Infield looking for the double play against Ken Williams. Williams is hitting 227 on the replay. 2 homers, 13 driven in. He at 281 real world. And we have a 1-5, and that's going to be a home run, 1-14 for Ken Williams. 3-run home run on a 1-14. 15-20 is a double. And that's gone. A 3-run shot for Ken Williams from the number 9 position. Ken Williams, a 3-run blast. White Sox take a 4-0 lead. For Williams, that's home run number 3 on the replay. He had 11 real world. RBIs 14, 15, and 16. And the White Sox jump out on the Cleveland Indians 4-0 here in this top of the second. Niekro in some serious trouble. May need some relief here. Ben Swain is, but Williams Williams is okay. I mean, he's underperforming. He's hitting 227 on the replay up until this at bat. He hit 281 real world, but he certainly bowed up on that one. Here's Ozzie Guillen, 4-8. And that is boy, Niekro might not be long for this game. 1-14 is a double, 15-20 is a single. It will be a single for Guillen. That just means he's got a chance to steal. That's a 2, though, so it's a balk or pass ball. I'm sorry, it's a balk, rather. Balk chance on Niekro. His balk range is 0. That means Guillen cannot steal. So he will hold where he is. And that brings up Gary Reedus. 6-4. And that's a ballpark single check. 1-11 for Reedus. And that's a base hit as well. 1 star on the ballpark single. And the Cleveland bullpen's already starting to stir. They're looking down there to see who can give them some length. Mark Huesman has a relief rating of 3 as far as fatigue goes. So Mark Huesman is loosening in the Cleveland bullpen because Niekro just doesn't seem to have it. And here's Harold Baines. He had a double his first time up. First and second, nobody out. 3 runs already in. That is a 2-6 for Baines, and that's more trouble for Niekro. 1-4 is I think this is the exact same role he had last time because he had a chance to get a triple but ended up with a double. And he gets another double again. Harold Baines with another double. Reedus will score along with Guillen. Both runners will score. As Reedus was a trail runner. Well, actually, we got to roll. It's a 1-18. He was a trail runner, which makes him an 18. He makes him 18 because he wasn't held. 0 arm. So 1-18. And he is in there officially now for a 2-run double for Harold Baines. Baines with his 10th double of the season. RBIs 30 and 31. And Niekro is now, by rule, Niekro is now tired. 6 runs and 9 hits, and we haven't even gotten any outs in the second inning yet. So while Huesman continues to warm up, they're telling Niekro, this is on you. So here's Calderon, 6-6, and that's a strikeout, or it would be, but it's a dot, so Niekro's got to come out. That's going to be a base hit. We hit a dot, and that's the rule, or at least my rule. When you hit a dot and you're reach fatigue, you got to come out, and that 6-6 would have been a strikeout, but he hit the dot, so he's out of here. And in the second inning, Mark Huesman's going to come on and pitch. 6 runs and 10 hits in 1 inning plus for Niekro, and they're all earned. So we will now go to the bullpen. So 6 runs, but he could give up 8 runs because these 2 are his responsibility. So and it's almost a guarantee they're going to bat around, barring a double play. He walked 1, didn't strike anybody out. So Niekro just was not on his game. So they're going to turn to Mark Huesman and say, pitch until your arm falls off. Mark Huesman, 2-3 with a 5.04 ERA. We'll bring him in on the computer and see how he's doing on the replay. He probably was not expecting to come in the second inning, I'm sure. I almost can guarantee he was not thinking about coming in the second inning. So on the replay, Huesman is 2-5 with a 5.27 ERA. 41 innings pitched, 50 hits, 13 walks, 30 strikeouts. He is kind of the poster child of what they call the mop-up role. And he's got a lot to mop up, no question about it. Greg Walker will start us off for the White Sox. Walker walked his only time up. That's a 3.12, and that's a Lomax plus injury. This could be another triple play. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? This could be another triple play. Look at it again. 3.12 against the right-hander is a Lomax plus injury. But with 2 guys on, it could be a triple play, but it's not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed. go to the rule book and look at the super advanced Lomax, and it's a 1 to 7. If you roll a 1 to 7, it's a triple play. So we could have our second triple play in probably less than a week. So it's a 1 to 7 for a triple play. We get a 1 to 7, it's a triple play. And what a way for Houston to come into the game and get out of an inning. It's a 10, though, it'll be a double play. But by rule, let's see, it's a line out to second. So they're going to double off Baines. So it's going to be a line out to second and a 4 unassisted double play. Calderon does get back at first base. So no triple play. They get the double play, though, and that's certainly very helpful by itself. And now 2 outs, runner at first for Carlton Fisk. So couldn't quite get that triple play. Oh, that's right. We got to roll for an injury. My bad. Thank you, Ben, for reminding me of that. So a 1 to 6, he stays in the game. 7 to 20, he's got to come out. And he does. So Walker will have to leave. Thank you for reminding me of that. White Sox will need a new first baseman for Greg Walker. And they will go to Jerry Hairston to play first base. He's the only first baseman on the bench. They could move Fisk to first base, but you kind of don't want to mess with the pitcher-catcher symmetry they have going there. So we'll bring in, and in this kind of game, you can kind of bring in who you want, I guess. So Hairston will play first base in the second inning. Jerry Hairston. He will take over for the injured Greg Walker. So now 2 outs, runner at first for Carlton Fisk. That's a 1, so wild pitch chance on Houston. Let's get his wild pitch rating. Would have been nice if the wild pitch ratings were on the cards, but from 87, they just didn't do that. He's wild pitch of 12. So it will be a wild pitch, and that will move Calderon up 90 feet. It's been a chaotic inning for sure. And turns this into a clutch at bat now for Fisk by rule. So Fisk will gain a hit on 112. Don't know if that's going to make a difference or not. We'll find out. Nope, 6-5 doesn't make a difference. Struck him out. So I think, and they don't end up batting around. How about that? Talk about a relief job. Houston comes in, gets a line out double play, and then strikes out the next guy. You can't do any better than that. I mean, that's as good as it gets. There was one error, but that had nothing to do with the home run makes everything earned. So it was 5 earned runs. So we can close the book on Niekro, 1 inning pitched plus, and then 10 hits, 6 runs. And now Houston, since he got only had to face 2 batters this inning, he can maybe get some length out of him. So, game is never over. Of course, we're not in Coors Field, but if you saw last night's Rockies game, you know the game is never over. All right. Here is Mr. Nielsen. All of a sudden, he's inherited a 6-0 lead, and he gets to face the poster child for underperforming. That should be Joe Carter. Carter's hitting 210 on the replay, 16 homers, 34 driven in. He at 264 real world. 3-9, and Carter will ground to short. So once again, the underperforming continues. One away for designated hitter Pat Tabler. Tabler hitting 316 on the replay. 5 homers, 39 driven in. He at 307 real world. 6-9, and that's going to be a 1 to 10 double. 11 to 20, he'll settle with a single. And it's a double for Pat Tabler. First hit of the game. There goes the no-hitter. Double for Tabler. And that'll send up left fielder Mel Hall. Hall hitting 293 on the replay, 12 homers, 37 driven in. He at 280 real world. That's a 6-10 left-handed catcher X. Catcher X, and that is, again, Fisk. He's a 3. 3 and a 15 shouldn't be a problem. Even with the runner on base, you wouldn't think 3 and 15 would be a problem. Let's see. 3 and a 15 is a straight old foul out. No chances of pass balls or wild pitches. As an E4, the only errors as a catcher, E4, the only error chances are 16, 17, and 18. And no problem there at all. So he fouls out to Fisk, and there's 2 away. Now it's up to Corey Snyder in a clutch situation. Corey Snyder on the replay is hitting 239, 15 homers, 38 driven in. He hit 236 real world. It's a 1-8, and that's a 1-9 single. Anything else he lines to short, and the inning's over. And he lines it to Guillen, and the inning's over. So the double doesn't amount to anything. For the Tribe, we go to the third. It's still 6-0 White Sox. 6-0 White Sox. Top of the third we go. Huseman back out. We'll face Donnie Hill. Start the third. 1-6 for Hill. He grounds it to short. 1 away. And here is Steve Lyons. He singled and scored his first time up. 3-7, and that's a strikeout. So boy, Huseman come in like gangbusters. Complete opposite of Phil Niekro, that's for sure. Here's Ken Williams. He had a 3-run homer his first time up. 5-8, but not this time against Huseman. He strikes out. Strikeout number 3. They're going to pitch Huseman. If they can get 4 innings out of him, they'll do it. Depending on how effective he is. If he pitches like this, he will go at least 4 innings. Try to save that bullpen. All right, Nielsen back out now. Still got a 6-0 lead. And he will be facing Brooke Jacoby, third baseman. Brooke Jacoby hitting 334 on the replay, 19 homers, 55 driven in. He hit an even 300 on the season. 4-7, and that's going to be a single 1-8, line out 9-20. That is a line out. 1 away. And Chris Bando, the batter. Bando, number 9 hitter, hitting 202, 2 homers, 16 driven in. He hit 218 real world. 3-10 for Bando, and that's a walk. First walk of the game issued by Nielsen. Bando, no threat to run, will not be held. And we're back to the top of the order for Butler. Butler flew to right his first chance. That's a 2. Balk or pass ball. We're looking at a balk chance. He's got a 0 balk, so no worries there. Butler 1-2. He's going to pop it up to first. Greg Walker right there. 2 down. 2 away for Tony Bernazard, switch hitting second baseman. He will eventually get traded to Oakland. 112, and that's a Lomax plus injury now. Bernazard might be out of the game. Nobody's on. There were already 2 outs to begin with, but the Lomax plus injury on the 212. Anytime you roll a 2 or a 12, you're really susceptible to potential injuries. So we're going to see if Bernazard can stay in the game. He needs a 1-6 to stay in the game, and he doesn't. So Bernazard will come out, and knowing him and knowing the way this game is going, he's probably glad to take the rest of the game off. So the Tribe will bring on Junior Noboa. Second baseman Junior Noboa will come on, and he'll take over at second base in the 4th inning. Junior Noboa. So Noboa is your new second baseman for Cleveland. Let's bring him in defensively on the computer. Noboa. And now Huseman starting his 3rd inning of work. And Ozzie Guillen, the batter. Top of the order, top of the fourth. 5-9, and that is a fly ball to right field. Hauled in by Mr. Snyder on away. So Houston must have got up on the right side of the bed this morning because he is doing the polar opposite of Phil Niekro. 6-6, and that's a 1-11 single. 12-20, he lines it to Franco. And that's a base hit for Reedus. He's 2 for 3. Reedus, check the hold on Houston. He's a -2. Bando's a 1, so he's actually a -1. So Reedus will try to get a lead. He's 2 through 6. He gets it. He's going to go 19, being held to 17, -1 to 16, 1 to 16. And he got caught stealing. Wow. Try to get greedy there, Mr. Reedus. And you are thrown out 2 to 6. Caught stealing, Gary Reedus. Oops. Hold on. Didn't do what I needed it to do. Hold the phone there. Do the caught stealing. All right, so 2 down now for Harold Baines. 2-7 for Baines, and that's a 1 for a double. 1 for a double. Anything else is a single. And that's a single for Baines. 2-out single for Baines brings up Calderon. 4-10 for Calderon, fly to center. That's going to do it. So 3 shutout innings for Houston, and he's going to keep going for a 4th inning. 5 if he's really effective. And up here in the bottom of the 4th, it'll be Julio Franco. Franco, Carter, and Tabler due up. We get a 5-5, fly to center. 1 away for Joe Carter. 3-7 for Carter, and he grounds to short. He continues his struggles. 2 down for Pat Tabler, designated hitter. 5-5 for Tabler, and he flies to center, and that's going to end the inning. 3 up, 3 down go the Tribe. To go the 5th, it's still 6-0 Chicago. Huseman back out. He'll be facing Hairston for the first time. Hairston will get the call. And we'll get the numbers on Hairston, both on the replay and on the real season. Real season, he hit .230 and 126 at bats, 5 home runs. On the replays, hitting .293 and 41 at bats, 2 homers, 6 driven in. Switch hitting, first baseman / left fielder. That's a 5-10, left-handed. That's a catcher X. We're looking at Bando, 2-2, but nobody's on base. There's no wild pitches or anything. Doing a 2 could be an infield hit, though. We'll double check that. 2 and a 2. No, it's actually going to be a ground out. He's an E2, so he's got to avoid 3, 17, and 18, which he does. So it's a 2 to 3 ground out, and Hairston is out of there, 1 away. Hello, Dwayne. Good to see you. Hairston is out 2-3. And then Fisk, 5-12. Blast. It's a 1 to an 11 for Carlton Fisk to go deep. And 13, it falls just to the wayside. 5 was almost there until the last minute. It flipped to 13. So that means Huseman's living right. And instead of a home run, it's just a deep fly to left. 2 away for Donnie Hill. 110 for Hill, and that is a 1 to 12 single. Anything else, he lines to second. and that's a base hit. Only the third hit given up by Huseman. And that brings up Steve Lyons. 6'6" lefty, and that's trouble. Huseman might be tiring. 1 to 13 is a double, 14 to 20 is a single. That's a single 2 stars. It'll put runners on the corners for Ken Williams. And the last time he had runners on the corners, he had a 3 home run. We'll see if that's the same situation here. Huseman is now officially tired per the Strat computer, but we like to get him to eke out this inning before we bring in somebody else. So Williams. However, now that comes into play, so for he's got to avoid 4-2 and 5-8. Those are and 4-9. Those 3 numbers he needs to avoid. That's a 2, balk or pass ball. We're looking at a pass ball chance on Bando, which is a 9. So 1 to 9, and we got a pass ball. And we do. So Bando lets the run in on the pass ball. It's unearned. At least for now, it's unearned, depending on what Williams does. But it's now 7-0. And Williams, in a clutch situation for him, he loses hits 1-3 and 1-9. That's a 2-8, which is a fly to center to end the inning. So that is an unearned run that came across the plate. But 4 innings of pitching for Huseman. He gave everything he could to save that bullpen. So he goes 4 innings. He's going to give up 4 hits, 1 run which was not earned. He didn't walk anybody, and he struck out 3. Can't ask for much more than that from your mop-up reliever, that's for sure. And we'll figure out who the new pitcher is going to be for Cleveland in the 6th. But right now, we go to Nielsen. This is his fatigue inning, Mr. Nielsen, a 5. And he's got to complete this inning to qualify for the win. And he'll be facing Hall, Snyder, and Jacoby, your scheduled hitters. So Hall, first time up, fouled out to Fisk. This time around, a 3-5 for Mel Hall. He's going to ground it to second. Donnie Hill is there, 1 away. Brings up Corey Snyder. Whoa, that white die went over the edge. So I got to make sure it goes through the chute. There we go. 5-6, and that's a ground ball, second base X. Donnie Hill's a 4. 4-20, he'll get to that. E11. We're checking E11. Second baseman, E11. And 15, 17, and 18 are the numbers to avoid, which he does very easily. So 2 ground outs to Donnie Hill. 2 quick outs for Brooke Jacoby. That is a 1-7 for Jacoby. So 1-3 triple, 4-20 flies out to Williams to end the inning. And he does. Nielsen will carry full endurance into the 6th inning. He's got a 7-0 shutout going. And now Cleveland will have to figure out who's going to come in and pitch, as they got all they could out of Huseman. Coming up for the Sox, looks like they will go to a left-hander, Ed Vandenberg. Vandenberg is coming on. The left-hander. He's a -4 hole, makes him a -3. So we'll go to the computer and bring in Vandenberg. Check his real-life stats against replay stats. Vandenberg. Real season for Vandenberg. He was 1-0 with a 5.10 ERA, no saves. On the replays, pitched, well, kind of schizophrenic. He's 3 and he's got all these decisions and saves. He's got 9 decisions or 9 factors, 3-2 with 4 saves. When in real season, he was 1-0 with no saves. but his ERA is 7.32. 39 innings pitched, 66 hits allowed, 10 walks, 19 strikeouts, and in 39 innings, he's given up 12 home runs. He only gave up 9 home runs in 72 innings. So he may be the Joe Carter of pitchers. Not sure. But anyway, he's going to come out there and pitch to Ozzie Guillen. Start things off. Guillen 2 for 3. That is a 2-8 for Guillen, and that's a base hit. Guillen's aboard. He's going to try to get a lead. Needs a 6 or a 7. And he gets the lead. He's going to go 18 being held to 16. -3 is a 13. And he stole the base. Stolen base for Guillen. 3 hits for Guillen in the leadoff spot. Maybe they should use him in the leadoff spot more often. That'll bring up Gary Redus. 5-8 for Redus. That's a 1-day for Vandenberg. 9-20 is a single. Either way, the run's going to score. That is a triple for Gary Redus, and he had 6 of them real world. This is only his second in the replay. So the RBI triple makes it 8-0, and Vandenberg is having issues right out of the chute. And now here's Harold Baines. The infield is in. Although I think they bring the infield in as the game's probably already over. Here's Baines, 1-3, and that's a ballpark single check, which is a 1-11. And that's a base hit. That's going to be 2 runs in the inning. The good news is the infield can go back to normal now. But it is now 9-0 White Sox, and Vandenberg has not proven he can get anybody out yet. And here comes Calderon. And that is a 5-6. Ground ball shortstop X, potential double play ball. If Franco can handle it, 2E26. 2 and a 6. That's must be a fielder's choice. 2 and a 6. Actually, it's going to be a G2. They weren't holding the runners on, so it's going to be a fielder's choice. E26 at short. He has to avoid 12, 17, and 18. So 12 is a big number. But it's going to be a 6-4 fielder's choice. New runner at first base is Calderon. But at least they record an out. That's something, I guess. Here's Jerry Hairston. Will now turn around bat right-handed. He's a 1-9 against the lefty, and that's a walk. So you wonder if Vandenberg can even make it through the inning. He's got a fatigue of 2, but how long can you afford to let this hilarity go on? Fisk. 6-6, that's a strikeout. First strikeout. Vandenberg, and now 2 away. And it's a clutch, still by rule, a clutch situation for Donnie Hill. And that is a 2-9, and it's a pop out to short. So Vandenberg rights the ship. He will give up 2 runs, and they're going to back out for the 7th. They got to save the arms as much as possible. So they're going to let him flounder as long as they want to have him flounder. And, of course, guy pitching very relaxed is Scott Nielsen. He's got a 9. And he has full endurance into the 6th inning. And Chris Bando, the batter. 1-5 for Bando. It pops him up to 3rd. 1 away. And back to the top of the order for Butler. 2-5 for Butler. That's a base on balls. Base on balls for Butler. And you know what? They're going to have him steal. Down 9-0. It really doesn't matter if it gets caught or not. 2 through 8 or a 12 to steal. And that's a 10, so he can't get the jump anyway. Moot point. Here's Junior Noboa, his first chance since coming in for the injured Bernhardt. Noboa on the replay is 0 for 6. He's batting 0. In real season, in 80 at bats, he had 225. So he's still looking for his first hit on the replay. That is a 3-10. And he's going to get his first hit, base hit to right field. And Butler stops at second base. So Noboa gets the base hit. That's only the second hit of the game for the Tribe, and it took a bench player to get it. So now here's Franco. 3-4 for Franco, and that's a ground ball third base. Hey, that'll be a double play to end the inning. Around the horn double play. And Nielsen will continue to the 7th. So we go to the 7th. And Vandenberg will try to not mess up any more than it's already been happening, but it's a lost cause anyway. Here's Steve Lyons. That is a 5-8, and that is a single to center field off of Vandenberg. What's new? Vandenberg has now given up 70 hits in 40 innings. That's what's on the replay computer. On the computer, Strat computer, I'm looking at his replay numbers. He gave up 96 hits in 72 innings, but he's given up 70 hits in 40 innings in the replay. And here's Ken Williams. And that's going to be a ground ball second base C. That'll advance the runner Lyons to second base. On the ground out, Noboa's only play was to first. One away, back to Ozzie Guillen, who is 3 for 4. This will be his first at bat against a lefty, though. See if that makes any difference for Guillen. 4-8. 1-9's a single. 10-20, he lines out to Noboa. And it's a base hit. Guillen with his 4th hit of the game. It's only a 1-star, so Lyons will stop at third base. Runners at the corners. And they'll finally call off the dogs and say Guillen will not be attempting a steal here. Here's Gary Reedus, infield looking for a double play. That is a 5-11, and that's a ballpark single check, which is a 1 to an 11 for Reedus. That's 15, so he's going to line it to short, and everybody stays where they are. 2 down for Harold Baines. Still, by definition, a clutch situation for Baines. In the clutch against lefties, he gains all sorts of hits. 1-4, 1-11, 1-12, and 2-9. Also 3-3 and 3-5. So he gains 6 hits in the clutch against left-handers. I don't think I've ever seen anybody get 6 hits before in the clutch, particularly against the opposite-handed pitcher. That's or same-handed pitcher, I should say. So that's kind of weird how they rate that. Obviously, their 1,200 hours of research have determined that that's how they should rate him. 1-8 for Baines, and he struck him out. And that'll do it for Vandenberg. He will go 2 innings and give up 2 runs. And a total of, I believe, 5 hits. Let me double check that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, 5 hits. 2 runs. They were earned. No walks and 2 strikeouts. So we go to the 7th-inning stretch with a thriller, even though we're not in Manila. 9-0 White Sox. 9-0 White Sox. Nielsen coming out. And he gets to Mr. Underperformer himself, Joe Carter. That is a 2-4 for Carter. 2-4, ground ball to third. He's now 0 for 3 without getting the ball out of the infield. Amazing how one guy just gets all the bad breaks there. Here's Pat Tabler for 6, and that's a single for Tabler. Only the third hit of the game for the Tribe. And that brings up Mel Hall. 6 for Hall. Ground ball first base B. They'll get the lead dog at second base. 3-6 on the fielder's choice. Two down now for Corey Snyder. 2-8 for Snyder, and he gets a ground ball to short to end the inning. 7 shutout innings for Scott Nielsen. I'm not sure how realistic it is to keep him going, but pitching a shutout, I hate to take him out. So we go to the 8th inning, and Cleveland will need a new pitcher. So I'm going to look and see who maybe has the most rest. Really don't want to use their closer, Doug Jones. Unless he's got the most rest, then they have to. But Sammy Stewart looks like a good candidate. So they will bring in Sammy Stewart. And I know he can go 2 innings. So, whoops, wrong card. Let me get Sammy Stewart here. Sammy Stewart can go 2 innings. 4-2, 5.67 ERA, 3 saves, real world for Sammy Stewart. And if they can let Stewart complete this last 2 innings, they will save Doug Jones and Mike Armstrong without having to pitch them. So I guess that's a bright light, perhaps. A +3 hole makes him a plus, but with it 9-0, I don't think there's going to be any stealing going on. So let's bring Stewart in on the game on the computer, which we just did. And he is on the replay. He's only had 3 innings pitched, giving up 1 run. So his ERA is 3. 3 innings pitched, 3 hits. He has walked 3, struck out 1. So he's had some walk issues. Let's see if that continues. Here's Calderon. 6-6 off of Stewart, and that's a base hit. That is hit number 20 for the White Sox. They have now pounded out 20 hits and we're only in the 8th inning. Here's Hairston. He will turn back around and bat left-handed this time. 1-6 for Hairston, and that's a double on a 1-9. 10-20, he flies to right. And that's a double for Hairston. Calderon will stop at third. Hit number 21. They got Blackjack. Second and third, nobody out. Here's Fisk. Infield's in just for the heck of it. 4-10, and that is a ground ball shortstop X. So we're looking at Franco at 2. 2-15. 2-15 is a G1, so infield in. That means they're going to hold the runners. And let's see, his error rating is a 26. So he has to avoid 12, 17, and 18. I say he had to avoid 12, 17, and 18. I did say that, didn't I? I did say he had to avoid 12, 17, and 18. At least I think I did. Pretty sure I did. Had to avoid 12, 17, and 18. Pretty sure I said that. Franco E20. The 12 is right there. Right smack dab in the middle. So the run's going to score anyway on the E6 by Franco. Run is in. Going to third is Hairston. And they can't get anybody out. It's just one of those days. So Fisk reaches. And if you're a Cleveland fan, you just kind of shake your head, I guess. Like Murphy's Law is showing up big time. Second error of the inning. They've almost got more errors than they got hits. They've got 3 hits and they've committed 2 errors. So now Donnie Hill is up, first and third, nobody out. Now they're playing back for a double play because they need outs in the worst way. Uh, 5-6, switch hitter batting left, and that is a strikeout for Stewart. 1 away for Steve Lyons. Bad part is Cleveland's the home team, so they got to pitch all 9 innings. If you're the visiting team, you at least don't have to pitch the bottom of the 8th, but they got to pitch all 9 innings. Lions, 1-6 for Lions, and he flies to right with a B question mark, but they're not going to, especially not with Snyder being a -4, they're just going to hold him there. There's no sense trying to do anything with that. Harrison's not exactly the fastest guy on the field anyway. Only runs at a 10. And then you got a -4 arm sitting out here. So it just didn't make any sense to do that. And believe it or not, it is a clutch situation for Ken Williams. That's a 1. So the wild pitch rating on Stewart is a 15. And he will wild pitch in another run. So 2 runs are in. They're both unearned off of Stewart. So the wild pitch brings in the second run of the inning. It's now 11-0. One 8 for Williams, and he's hit by the pitch. About time, as I believe that was a line from in Major League from our buddy Bob Uecker, I believe, when they were getting beat up, and they, I think, I don't know if it was the Wild thing or somebody else that hit a batter. He's like, it's about time. So I would tend to put that same, and we are playing the Indians, ironically. So I think it was about time that was a hit by pitch. So first and second, here is Guillen. He is 4 for 5 in this game, all singles. 6-5, and that's a walk, and that will load the bases. Bases are loaded for Gary Reedus. Incredibly, still a clutch situation. Reedus will lose a hit on 3-10 and 2-3. Stewart, 6-7, and that's a 1-3 single. Let's see if it's, let me bring it over here a little bit. It's a 1-3 single, a 4-20. He lines out to third. And he lines out to Jacoby to end the inning, but 2 runs come in. They are unearned. And it is 11-0. Nielsen's going to come back out. And he will pitch. And I may keep him out there until he gives a run up. Here's Jacoby. 6-8. And that's a base hit for Jacoby. Hit of the game for the Tribe. And that'll bring up Chris Bando. So Bando. .27 for Bando, and he struck him out. That's one thing Nielsen had. His first strikeout took him 8 innings to get one, but he finally got a strikeout. He had just been letting Cleveland get themselves out. But he finally gets his first strikeout of the game. Here's Brett Butler. 1-5 for Butler, and that's another walk. That is the third walk issued by Nielsen. He's going to put runners at first and second with 1 out for Junior Noboa. Now the White Sox bullpen starting to stir just a bit. And let's see, it looks like it's going to be Ralph Citarella loosening in the bullpen for the White Sox. So Noboa, 5-6, and that's a ground ball, second base X. Potential double play, but Hill's a 4, so it may not work out that way. 4-6, you'd be lucky to get an out. Probably just going to be a G3. 4-6 actually is going to be a single. It's the last number in the single, so it's single 1 star to load the bases. We'll check for an error. Hill is an E11. So E11, the only errors are 15, 17, and 18. And that is a 15. That was a 5 there. I pushed it. That was a 15. So it is going to be an error on top of it on Donnie Hill. And that will score the first run, break up the shutout. No RBI, of course, given to Noboa since it was an error that caused all of this. Nielsen is now considered tired by the Strat-O-Matic computer. They're going to give him one more batter. Julio Franco, second and third, 1 out, infield back because, why would you be in when it's an 11-1 game? So they're back. 1-8 for Franco, and he gets a single to right. It's anti-clutch, but there's only one out. There was only 1 out, so the base hit is good, and that's going to do it for Nielsen. He will finally have to come out of the game. Single goes to right field. So scoring is Butler. Going to third is Noboa. And that will finally do it for Nielsen. He will come out of this game, and Ralph Citarella will be coming on to pitch. But Nielsen gave him a heck of an outing, no question about it. He is going to go 7 1/3. And now we need Citarella. +1, but that doesn't matter. 7 1/3 innings. He's going to give up 6 hits, 2 runs, but with the error, that might add something to it. We'll have to wait and see if they're earned or not, how many are earned or not. Let's see. He walked 3, struck out 1. So Citarella will bring him on the computer and see how he's done on the replay versus real world. Citarella on the real season in 11 innings of pitching, he has given up, he has an ERA of 7.36, no win-loss record. On the replay, he's tossed 9 innings, and he's been perfect. No runs allowed, just 2 hits, 3 walks, 9 strikeouts. So how he's done it, I have no idea, but he has done it. And now he's going to face Joe Carter with runners at the corners and 1 out. And if things go the way Carter is used to doing here in this replay, he'll hit into a double play. That's a 1, but no wild pitch on Citarella. That is a 5-4. That's going to be a catcher X. We're looking at Fisk. He's a 3. 3 and a 10 for Fisk for a catcher. 3 and a 10 is going to be a P/F, which is a pass ball possibility, but since his wild pitch is a 0, it will just be a foul out. There will be no chance of a pass ball when Citarella is pitching, so it is a foul out. And Joe Carter again comes up empty-handed. Here's Pat Tabler. 2, nope, it's balk or pass ball. Now we got a pass ball chance on Fisk, which is a 3. And it is a pass ball. How about that? A run's going to score on a pass ball. That will definitely be unearned unless the next batter gets a hit. Pass ball will definitely bring in an unearned run there. A little bit of loss of concentration by Fisk. It's now 11-3. 6-2, and that is a fly ball left field X. We're looking at the left fielder Reedus. He's a 3E8. Oh, 3 and a 5. This could drop. Might make these runs earned after all. 3 and a 5 will be a single 2 stars, so these runs will be earned after all. Franco's might not. We'll have to see. But it is a single, and now the error chance on Reedus is an E8. E8 and an 8. E8, there is no 8 there, but it's a single 2 stars for Tabler to score Franco. And now, oops, let me fix that result. I didn't do right. Franco should have scored on that play, so let's redo that on the computer. So now it's 11-4, and Mel Hall, the batter. That's a 1, but again, no wild pitch. 6-4. Ground ball to third. That'll do in the inning, but 4 runs come in. And we go to the 9th, 11-4. I'm going to go to the Strat computer box score and see if they give that last run scored by Franco should be unearned because of the passed ball. I'm going to see if they accurately reflect that. And they do. 4 runs, 3 earned is what's showing up on his final stat line. So there you go. So we go to the top of the 9th. 11 runs, 21 hits, and 1 error for the White Sox. 4 runs, 7 hits, and 2 errors for the Tribe through 8 innings. And now we have Harold Baines stepping to the plate against Sammy Stewart. Sammy Stewart reluctantly going out there for the 9th inning. He's not thrilled about it. He's going to face Harold Baines. That is a 5-12, and that's a ground ball second base X. That's Noboa. Junior Noboa. Let's get his fielding rating. Junior Noboa at second base is a 4E11. 4E11. 4 and a 12, he'll get to that. E11 at second base. 15, 17, and 18. So no problems there for Noboa. Gets Baines out, 1 away. For Ivan Calderon. 2-7 for Calderon, struck him out. Got to bring up Jerry Hairston. Hairston, the first baseman, when Walker got injured in the first inning, or second inning, rather. 3-8 for Hairston, struck him out. So Stewart pitches a nice 9th inning just to keep it from getting any worse. So for the White Sox, 11 runs on 21 hits. Stewart's going to go 2 innings. He's going to give it 1, 2. It's like 2 hits. And he's going to give up, let's see, hit a batter. Didn't walk, and he walked 1, struck out 3. And finish the inning here with the strikeout. And now go to the box score. So I think one of those Stewart runs might be unearned, but we'll double check it. Stewart, yeah, both of them are unearned actually. So 2 with a 0 there. That E6 opened up the door for everything. So now we go to the 9th inning, bottom of the 9th inning, I should say. And Citarella back out to wind this thing down. He'll be facing Snyder, Jacoby, and Bando, scheduled hitters. Snyder, Jacoby, and Bando. That's a 1-9 for Snyder, and he gets a base hit. Base hit for Snyder. That'll bring up Brooke Jacoby. And that is a 2-8 for Jacoby, and that's a strikeout. First strikeout for Citarella. Brings up Chris Bando. They'll actually call Bando back and give somebody else an at-bat that probably needs one. And they will go to a young guy off the bench by the name of Casey Parsons, and he will pinch hit for Bando just to get him an at-bat. Casey Parsons. He had 25 at-bats real world and hit 160 with 1 home run. Not sure what he's done on the replay. We'll figure it out. Casey Parsons. On the replay, Parsons is 2 for 4. Both of those hits have been home runs. So talk about overperforming. He's 2 for 4 with 2 homers and 4 runs batted in and a walk. So he's been getting a couple good rolls here against the right-handed pitching. So now Citarella to Parsons. 1-9, and he will strike out. Parsons with the strikeout. That'll lower that average. 2 down now for Brett Butler. That's a 6-9, and that's a strikeout for Citarella, and that'll end the ball game. So he strikes out the side in the 9th. Goes an inning and 2/3. He's going to give up 2 hits, no runs, no walks, and 3 strikeouts. And the final line score to end this fiasco. We will go to the final line score. Wrap up the totals, the scary totals. 11 runs, 21 hits, and 1 error for the White Sox. 4 runs, 8 hits, and 2 errors for the Tribe. Niekro takes the loss. He drops to 3-9. His ERA skyrockets to 7.16. Nielsen gets the win. He goes to 3-1, and his ERA lowers to 4.76. Player of the game, you can make your pick. Guillen was 4 for 5, but Baines was 4 for 6 with 3 runs batted in. So you can make your pick on who you want as the player of the game. But anyway, that is that, as they say. So we move on to the West Coast for the last 3 games of the week. I've decided the Yankee-Texas game is going to be played offline. We have enough Yankees around here. We can skip a Yankee game once in a while online. So we're going out to the West Coast for the next 3 games. And we're looking at the schedule and see who the next game is on the agenda from the West Coast. It appears that we will be going to the Oakland Coliseum. It'll be the Boston Red Sox and the Oakland A's. Oil Can Boyd for the Red Sox against Dave Stewart for the Oakland A's. That will be tomorrow. Thursday will be in Seattle. It'll be Dan Petrie against Mark Langston. And then on Friday, we'll be in California. It'll be Mark Knudsen against Jack Lazorko. That's the schedule for the next 3 days. I will play the Yankee-Texas game offline. And then next week we'll start out with July 6th right off the get-go and get back on our somewhat of a normal schedule, hopefully. So, unfortunately, not a close game, but things like that happen, especially when you get teams like this that aren't very good. White Sox do improve to 36-42. Cleveland drops to 31-50. So that's going to do it from here. Hopefully tomorrow we're back at our normal 9 o'clock, between 9 o'clock and 9:15 time frame like we usually are. Just got off to a slow start this morning for whatever reason. Kind of overslept a little bit. and just took me a while to get going. So that's why I put the little note out there so that you wouldn't think I wasn't going to do any game today. It was just delayed by about an hour. So that's good to do from here. Hope you all have a great rest of your Tuesday, whatever you have planned. Tonight, the Rockies replay, the Rockies Horror Picture Show, or Rockies Horror Baseball Show, travels to San Francisco. The start of a quick four-game road trip in California for the Rockies. They'll take on the Giants in the first of four. It'll be Justin Verlander for the Giants against German Marquez for the Rockies, who are coming off a Rocky Mountain high, so to speak, with their big comeback victory over the Braves last night. So that's going to do it from here. Until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and we'll see you all down the road.